Hi guys. Yes, I'm alive. I'd like to apologize first of all for disappearing for a bit. I actually thought that I would release a lot more content, but then life happened and I've been like super busy. I haven't been able to upload as much as I wanted to initially, but since I had a bit of free time, I was like, you know what, I might as well use this opportunity to record a YouTube video because it's been like 6 months. I'm so sorry. So thank you guys so much for bearing with my absolutely horrid upload schedule. You guys are the best. Yes, you. So I decided today's video would be about indie games, and I was gonna make some recommendations for you guys. So this is for whether you're looking for something new to play or whether you're trying to see, like what kind of indie games you would recommend to somebody else that is into them. I've got you. So you're probably asking, what is an indie game? So an indie game by definition is short for an independent video game. It's typically created by individuals or smaller development teams without the financial and technical support of a large game publisher, in contrast to most AAA games. So some of you might be asking, yo, does she have a Lisp? Yeah, I do have a Lisp. And now the rest of you are probably asking, what's a AAA publisher, or what's a AAA game? The term AAA games is a classification used within the video game industry to signify high-budget, high-profile games that are typically produced and distributed by large, well-known publishers. So when we talk about AAA games, we're basically talking about games that are published by big publishers like Nintendo or EA, your faves. A lot of indie games usually go under the radar, they go unnoticed, and so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go out and spread the indie game gospel today and just talk about indie games to people. I'm gonna keep it to at least 5 today, so let's go. So the first game on our list today is a game called Boyfriend Dungeon. Why are you looking at me like that? Come on, okay, you know what? At least let me read the synopsis before you start giving me funny looks, okay? It's not what it sounds like, I promise. Boyfriend Dungeon is a dungeon crawler dating sim indie game developed and published by Kitfox Games. Taking place in an urban fantasy setting, the player character must fight through dungeons with the help of a human partner who can transform into a sentient weapon. If you're still scratching your head after that synopsis, it's okay. I was just as confused as you when I was getting into this game. So it's fair game. So in our game world, there exists 2 types of people. One, there's people that can just turn into weapons for some reason. And 2, there's people that can't turn into weapons. And these are normally referred to as wielders because you can't turn into a weapon, so you have to wield the weapon people. This game is a dungeon crawler and a dating sim all at once. I know it sounds like a bit of a chaotic combination, but trust me, it actually works. Surprisingly, it works really well. At least most of the time. You spend half of the game meeting and getting to know the 7 love interests that the game presents to you, and you spend the other half taking said love interests down into the dungeon, or the dunge as the game so lovingly calls them, to fight monsters. The closer you are to a certain love interest, the more abilities of theirs as a weapon you unlock. Each character presents as a different weapon, so you can romance whoever you think is the hottest or whichever weapon you think would be best for you to wield in the dungeon. I don't know what kind of playstyle you're going for, it's really up to you. The game itself is pretty short, pretty sweet, and if you pushed hard enough, you could probably finish it in a day or 2. And also, I'd like to take this opportunity to present a trigger warning for anyone that might be affected by it, but this game kind of handles themes of, there's a stalker in the game. He kind of stalks the player, and it made me a little uncomfortable. So there might be people who might be super triggered by that, so just keep that in mind before you delve into the game, just in case that's something that might trigger you. If this is your kind of thing, if you like dating sims, you like dungeon crawlers, hey, who knows, give this a shot. It's a pretty neat combination. Next up, we have a little game called Dreamscaper. Dreamscaper tells the story of Cassidy, a woman who has moved from her tiny hometown of Backhill to the larger town of Red Haven. Prior to the time of the game, Cassidy suffered severe trauma that still haunts her dreams. One thing that genuinely grabbed me about this game is just the overall theme, like the vibes. I don't know how to explain it, but I just love the vibes of this game. Despite the game being super relaxing though, this game is actually a roguelike like Hades or Transistor. When Cassidy goes to bed, you enter her dream world and you fight against nightmares in the form of monsters. The combat in the game is actually pretty smooth and easy to understand. I was really grateful for that because my tiny gamer brain sometimes can't comprehend learning all these controls. That's not all this game has to offer. When you die in the dream, our MC wakes up in real life. And from there, the game turns into a sort of life sim. You can use Cassidy to move around the town and go to different places that are open to you. And when you do that, that's where you encounter other people, and you can befriend these other people by either talking to them or giving them gifts. But of course it happens gradually because our MC Cassidy is a little shy, so she can't immediately talk to everybody. Getting close to these people is also beneficial for you in the dungeon or in the dreams, because at certain points in the relationship, Cassidy now learns new skills from these people that she can apply in her dreams. The more friends she makes and whatnot, the more abilities she gets to learn, which will make things easier for you in the dungeon. So again, it's another cycle. You go into the dungeon, new skills, use the skills, die, wake up, get closer to more people, learn more skills, get back into the dungeon and whatnot. I think way too little people are talking about this game. I need more people to play this game. Please, if you like dungeon crawlers, you are legally required to play this game right now. For the next game, let's change it up a little bit. This is for my visual novel folks. The Red Strings Club is an adventure game set in a cyberpunk world. In this world, devices implanted in humans have become commonplace as a way to alter one's physical features and mental functions. A corporation called Supercontinent Limited, led by a mysterious CEO, is at the forefront of this human implant industry. I mean, being a cyberpunk game, it literally has everything. It's perfect. It's got big evil corporations feeding off the people. It's got AIs that became too sentient for their own good. It's got hackers. It's got good cyberpunk music. It's the full package. The game has three main characters: a bartender named Donovan, whom we spend most of the game playing as; a hacker named Brandy. Look, I can't pronounce his name. And an android named Akara184. So throughout the story, the game will switch points of view between these three characters, but like I said, we'll mostly be playing as Donovan, the bartender. So when playing as the bartender, your main task is to mix drinks for your clients. That's not all. The bartender also doubles as an information broker, so it's your job to find out whatever information you can from your clients as you serve them drinks. And the way you do this is by mixing drinks that will affect your clients' emotions, so that you can get them to talk about whatever you want. So for example, you could mix up a cocktail to make somebody angry, to make them say something out of spite, or you could make them a cocktail that'll make them sad, to break down and confess to you about something. It's up to you. So the game doesn't really push much on what you should do. It's up to you to kind of decide, oh, this person is in a good mood, let me make them sad so that they can talk about a sad thing that I want to know about. And then when you play as the hacker, you do lots of hacking. Duh. Yeah, it's mostly either hacking or he's kind of gathering information on the field, really. I'm not too sure how to explain it more. There's not much to the hacker side of things, but it is fun. And when we finally get control of the android, we get to work at the super evil Megacorp. Yay! This section kind of handles like making pottery, because as the android, we have to make the implants that the company sells. We make the implants before Akara kind of does very impromptu surgery and literally just sticks the implants into the people. It's not as easy as it sounds though, because each implant does a specific thing. So the way the implants in this game work is that they kind of it's like a stat boost or something. So like, for example, some people want implants to make themselves prettier, some people want implants to look more confident, Every client that comes into the corporation thingy has like a specific request, like, oh, I want something that will make me have more charisma, and it's up to you to pick which implant kind of increases charisma or something like that, and you just really do whatever they want. But you know, being a cyberpunk game, the game eventually starts presenting you with some more dilemmas and has you thinking. This game plays a lot with the idea of fate and how your actions could affect others around you that are connected to you. Even if you're not really into visual novels, I think you might enjoy this a lot. So give it a try if you can. So this next game is for my life sim people. So if you don't know what a life sim game is, it's essentially a game where you play as your character, but you get to live their day-to-day life and kind of see what they're doing almost every day of their life. You've inherited your grandfather's old farm plot in Stardew Valley. Armed with hand-me-down tools and a few coins, you set up to begin your new life. Can you learn to live off the land and turn these overgrown fields into a thriving home? So in our story here, your character is working for some corporation, and when they get the letter that they've inherited their grandfather's farm, they quit their job and they decide to move and live on the farms. So the farm itself is pretty run down when you move into it, and so essentially it's up to you to kind of restore the farm to its former greatness. And when your farm is, big enough, you can even start rearing animals, keeping them for meat and milk and stuff and eggs. Full-on farm experience, baby. But that's not all the game has to offer though. So when you move in, you eventually get to meet the other townspeople. And so these townspeople, you can befriend them, you get to talk to them, you can give them gifts and whatnot. Eventually you can get close to a single townsperson, and if you get close enough, you can date, and eventually you can marry them, and eventually you can have a kid or two with them, I think. I haven't had the chance to do multiple playthroughs like most people, but like, if I did, I would pick Sebastian every time. He's literally my husband. Have you seen? Like, look at him! 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 I would pick him I would pick you every time, Sebastian. Oh, by the way, you can only date or marry one person at a time, because if your other spouses eventually find out that you're cheating on them, they kind of like gang up on you, and it will be kind of bad for you. And I think that kind of ruins your chances of dating / marrying anybody else or something. I don't remember the repercussions, but yeah, don't date more than one person. The game also sort of offers you a dungeon for you to go into, and the game now becomes kind of like a dungeon crawler. I say dungeon of sorts because it's essentially the town has an old abandoned mine, and you can go into the mine to kind of like mine for minerals that you can sell. And since the mines have been abandoned for a while, there's monsters in there, so you kind of have to defeat monsters to keep yourself safe and stuff. And the deeper you go into the mines, the more powerful the monsters get, so you just have to make sure that you have all the right tools and stuff to replenish your health as you go along, because it gets harder and harder. But then also the drops get rarer and rarer, so it's kind of, you kind of get tempted to go lower and see what you can get. I think one of the best things about Stardew Valley, it's what I'd like to call a forever game. The game essentially doesn't really end, and you can keep playing it for as long as you want. And also you don't really have to finish it within a set number of hours, because it's a forever game. You can just keep playing it for however long you want. So if you're one of those people that feels like they only get their money's worth from long games, trust me, buy Stardew Valley and you will literally feel like you've paid way too little for it. It's a great game that I think, even a lot of casual gamers can get into. It's pretty addictive, and if you're looking for a game that maybe will keep you for the long run, I would really advise this. So the last game on our list will pander to those of you that like action platformers. If you like games like Ninja Gaiden, I'm pretty sure that you like this. On the western edge of a cursed village is a village of ninjas, the last survivors of humanity. The legends state that the demon army is fated to attack the village in an attempt to eradicate the last of humanity. But legends also state that the village is fated to be saved by the western hero. A young ninja eager to leave his village and explore the world experiences the fated day of the demon army attack. the legendary Western hero appears, driving away the demon army, and tasks the ninja with the role of the messenger, who must deliver a scroll to the top of a mountain. First thing I'll say about the messenger is that the game looks great. The 8-bit aesthetic that gives it this very retro look was very pleasing to my eyes and definitely started making me feel nostalgic for some reason. And then when it came to the gameplay aspect of things, the game handles really well actually. One of the core mechanics of this game is a little technique called cloud stepping. It's a ninja technique that allows you to basically double jump as long as your ninja sword hits something while midair. I'm not gonna lie to you though, it's definitely something that kind of takes some getting used to. It took me a bit, but you know, once you get it, you start using it pretty easily, and you're gonna wanna have to start using it pretty easily. It's a core mechanic of the game, so sometimes you can't traverse certain parts of the game unless you cloud step. Other times, certain bosses can only be beaten by using cloud stepping in tandem with, of course, your regular skills and whatever. So you will want to get used to it as soon as you can. One of my favorite things about the messenger though is the humor. The NPCs and even the game bosses will always have some sort of funny banter ready for you, the messenger, when you interact with them. Another little thing I liked about the messenger was the revival system. So when you die, there's this little demon-like thingy called Quarble that revives you. But he doesn't do it for free, you see. When he revives you, he follows you around for a little bit as you play the game, and whatever money you collect, he just eats it so you don't collect any money. And so he eats his fill of cash until he's satisfied, and then he just leaves. And another thing about Quarble is that every time you die, he has a pretty snarky remark. He's a little jerk, but I love him. He's pretty funny. The Messenger is a game that is seemingly small and generic, but trust me, it's got a lot of content in it. I'm 10 hours in and I'm pretty sure I've only hit the halfway point just now. So there's quite a lot of fun to be had in the Messenger. So please, if you're into Metroidvanias, if you're into games like Ninja Gaiden, I'm pretty sure this one will be for you. Action platformers, this one is for you. You have to give it a go. It's really fun. And that makes 5 games, guys. I tried to diversify the genres a little bit because, you know, I wanted there to be a little something for everybody. But then, you know, I kind of realized, I was like, okay, damn, I kind of play a lot of the same genre when it comes to indie games. So in the future, I guess I'll try to also diversify my my genres a little bit more when I'm playing indie games, so that I have like a wider variety of things to talk about. Or if not, you know, if you guys like this kind of thing, I could always release kind of like videos where I kind of bunch them together, like these are platformers, these are visual novels, these are whatnot, you know. But anyway, guys, I think that's it for me. I think that's it for today's video. If you guys like this sort of thing, like I said, let me know in the comments perhaps, and you know, I can do more of these lists. You need more recommendations, I've got you. I actually play quite a lot of indie games, so I'm pretty sure I can make more of these lists. Don't forget to follow my socials to see what I'm doing whenever I'm not here, because yeah, I'm not here a lot. So feel free to follow my socials, they're linked down below. And share this video with a friend, you know, somebody that wants to get into indie games and is looking for some quick recommendations. You know, share this with your family members and whatever. And yeah, I think that's it for me. I will see you next video. Don't ask me when next video will be. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.